Great morning. Great morning. You guys come on in. Come on in. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Come on in. Come on in. Once you come in, make sure you share the broadcast. Come on in and share the broadcast. Great morning. How y'all doing? Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from, who's here and where you're tuning in from. Hey, Sissy. Hey, Annette. How are you? Great morning, great morning, great morning. You all, it is truly a great day. Hey, Eileen. Good to see you, gorgeous. I'm coming to your city. So, you guys, I'm on the road. Hey, Daddy. I'm on the road headed to Tampa. I know y'all are like, Dr. V, you were just in Tampa. And I was. But I'm headed back to Tampa because it is my son Adam's birthday. Woo woo! He just turned the big 21, y'all. He is 21. I am so excited for him. And so I'm headed in. Not only is it his birthday, it's baby Brooklyn's birthday. Brooklyn is turning 2 tomorrow. It is also my daughter in law's birthday. So my daughter in law is turning, I don't know how she's turning, y'all. I'm not even getting ready to lie, but it's her birthday today. Brooklyn's birthday is tomorrow. So I'm headed to Tampa to spend some time with my family. Hey, Jackie. So y'all, listen, you know, this morning, God really was impressing upon my spirit the importance of doing things with grace. The importance of doing things with grace. Listen, anything that we do, we need to have a measure of grace attached to it because, there are ways to do things. You can say the same thing and get different results based on your ability to operate in grace. What is grace? Grace is knowing that you've done some jacked up stuff or said some jacked up stuff and you need grace. So you extend grace to other people. Like it doesn't mean that you've done something to that particular person, um, but it means that we don't always know the fullness of everything that's going on with people. And so sometimes things happen and it's not intentional. It's not something that is meant to hurt someone. Um, but it still needs a measure of grace because whatever you did, whatever you said may have hurt someone's feelings. It may have made them feel away. Now, you may not understand why they feel away, and you might say to yourself, I wouldn't feel away, but it's not about you, it's about them. And so when you understand that, then you can extend grace to people. I just know I need grace. I need grace, so I give grace, and I give a lot of grace. So I do that because I just know. I just know. I know how life is. I know how life happens. I know that people don't always know what's going on in the background. It's like with computers. If you're using a computer, you have what's on the screen, what you're working on, but then you also have what's going on behind the screen, like in the CPU. And what's going on in the CPU, you can't see it, but it doesn't mean that it's not happening. Even with your phone, you have programs that are working in the background. And although you may not always know those programs are working in the background, they are. And so they drain some of the strength. My God, this is good. They drain some of the strength from the phone. So the phone may not move as fast as it normally would if it didn't have all of these programs running in the background. The same is true with us. See, we have all these things running in the background. Because listen, let me tell you something. This morning I'm packing. Y'all know I don't pack the night before. I'm not there yet. So this morning I'm packing, but I've got all of these things going on in my head, right? My baby just turned 21. Oh my God. Like, he's legal, can go to the liquor store legally and buy liquor. Okay. He can go into bars legally and clubs legally. I'm like, oh my God, like he's 21 and I can remember when he was just a baby. I can remember, when, he would throw temper tantrums because he wanted his daddy. I can remember, him coming into himself and creating his own mark and developing his identity. And I can remember getting his first pair of glasses. And so there are all of these emotions that are rolling around inside of me as I'm packing. And then I'm thinking about the fact that Brooklyn, is getting ready to turn 2. And, I remember being in the delivery room with her. And, I'm thinking about all of these things, but I still got to pack, right? So my mind is working and my emotions are going. And then I'm looking at pictures of them with daddy. And that's evoking some more emotions, that he won't get to see them have any more birthdays here on earth. And, so it's all these emotions raging inside of me, but I still got to pack. Now, I'm pretty good at navigating my emotions, right? But sometimes our capacity is diminished by the things that are going on inside of us. And when we have all of these things going on inside of us, from other people, so that we don't negatively impact other people, um, while we are dealing with whatever we're dealing with. Okay. Now, even and I'm pretty good at it, even I have times where I don't have the capacity to deal with some stuff. I don't have the capacity to deal with everything that's going on inside in me, and people being petty and shady and messy and, saying slick stuff and doing slick stuff. Because you might get cussed out. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. You might get cussed out, or at least cussed. If you don't get cussed out, you might get cussed. Okay. Because my capacity to push down or hold down those emotions is limited. It's just limited. So we need grace. That's why I extend grace. Everybody has their own stuff going on in their life, their own stuff that they're dealing with, that they're navigating, and you can't see it and you may not know it, but it doesn't change the fact that it's there. And so before I write people off, before I just go plumb off on people, I try with everything in me to extend them grace. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean be a doormat. It doesn't mean let people walk all over you. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination, because I'm not going to do that. But what I do mean is this: before you unleash the dragon, do everything in your power. Y'all know I be driving. Do everything in your power to extend grace. Now, sometimes grace runs out. Fortunately, with God, grace never runs out. But sometimes with us, our grace with certain people, like it'd be like, okay, I've extended grace and extended grace and extended grace, and I've forgiven. And I know what the word says, but this is what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to set some different kind of boundaries with you, because I don't have a lot more grace to give you. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set these boundaries so that way I can monitor how I interact with you. But we need grace. We need it. It's a necessity. And honestly, like if we be real, we've all had those times when something else was going on with us and somebody said something, we took it the wrong way and it went all the way left when it probably normally wouldn't have. So let's extend some grace. Today, as you go throughout your day and you deal with people, extend grace to them. Show them God's grace. Just assume the best instead of assuming the worst. Most of the time when we get upset with people, a lot of times people don't even remember stuff. I remember writing my daddy, not my new daddy, my biological daddy, not him, but my other dad. I remember writing him a letter because there were things that had happened in my life that, had affected me. And I wanted to let him know. Like I felt like I needed to share this with him and try to get to some resolve. So I wrote the letter. He got the letter. He read the letter. And a lot of the stuff he didn't remember because for him, it didn't impact him like that. It impacted me like that, though. So I remembered it very vividly. I remember what it smelled like when it happened. I remember exactly where I was. I remember exactly how I felt. I remember all of those details because it impacted me, but it didn't impact him. So you got to remember that a lot of times the things that happen aren't even about you. So one of the number one things that we can do, this is the number one way that we can extend grace, is don't assume that stuff is about you. Don't take it personally. Most of the time, you got to understand, we all have these movies that are playing, right? We're all stars in our own movie, in our own show, in our own act. And so I've got my movie that I'm the star of. So it's about what? Me, 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 me. It's about me, right? But everybody else has their movie and it's about them. So if when my movie, you know how they have the crossovers, like with the oh my God, the uh, CW shows where you might have Flash go be with Arrow and somebody else like a Supergirl, and like all of them are in one show. Now all of them have their own show that they're the star of, but when they do the crossovers, right? Then it shifts a little bit. So things that happen may not just have to do with that person. It has to do with other things that are going on, right? Other storylines in the individual shows. Same is true with us. Listen, I have what's going on in my show. Now, you don't know all of the background stuff of what's going on in my show. And I don't know all of the background stuff of what's going on in yours. All we know is that we've done this crossover. And now we're both in the same show. So I don't know the background. I don't know all the backstory, and neither do you. So something may be said or done, and the assumption is when you assume that things are about you and personal, and you take them personally, then it becomes offensive. When it's not really about you, really that person was dealing with something that happened in a previous episode on their show, right? That the watchers or the viewers may know about, but you don't know about, okay? So that's why we got to extend grace. All I'm saying is this: grace is necessary. Grace is necessary. Just like it's necessary to receive grace, it's necessary to extend grace. The failure to do so, becomes problematic. So let's extend some grace today. Let's show grace. Let's let people know that we love them. Let's allow God to heal wounds, because really a lot of times our lack of grace is because something is done or said that triggers something from our past, triggers a wound that we have, and now we are dealing with the wound. Um, and it's not about that person and what they did per se, but what they did triggered something else from our past. That's why healing becomes so incredibly important, which is why, hold on, which is why we're doing the Heal Your Daddy Wounds retreat, July 28th through the 30th, or July 30th through August 1st. Because some of those things that we need to deal with on our own, and begin to heal those wounds so that we're not so triggered, so that we're not um, always in a position where Other people are being negatively impacted by things that have really nothing to do with them and everything to do with the trauma of our past. So, I've extended to 350. I've extended to 350. And so you guys can tap in for the 350 full price. Okay. You tap in for the 350 full price until Sunday night at midnight. Sunday night at midnight. You can still attend for the 350 full price by Sunday night at midnight. Or you can pay your deposit, but you want to secure your spots for either session 1 or session 2. And get ready to really heal. Because I believe with everything in me that that's what God desires to do. He desires to heal us. He desires to mend our broken hearts. He desires to take us to the next level in Him. Hold on. He desires to take us to the next level in Him. So we've got to understand that what God is doing in this season, it's bigger than us. It's about the people that we're called to impact. It's about the people that we're called to touch. And when we understand that we can stop being so selfish and do what's necessary so that we can be healed, so that we can help others heal. Listen, y'all, that is the word for today. Grace. Grace and multiplied. Listen, if you want to sow a seed at Cash App $DRV Walters. Cash App $DRV Walters. Look, know this. Know that what God is doing in this season of your life, it's about to blow your mind. And the best is yet to come. I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Be blessed. Mwah.